Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Saturday Spiritualist, where we examine different spiritual and philosophical schools of thought and different tools of the trade and that sort of thing. You may have noticed that last week we did not have an episode, and I didn't give anyone any notice that there wasn't going to be an episode. The reason why is because I was up all night Friday, slept for a couple hours, and then I was up all day and all night into um, through Saturday into Sunday with a pet who was dying basically, and I was just trying to keep him as comfortable as possible until he passed, and I actually kind of like holding out some thought that maybe he would pull through. And yeah, so I ended up burying him on Monday, or not Monday, on Sunday in the morning after he passed, and I didn't get a chance to address any of it until Monday. I was pretty racked up, and even Monday's episode of Let's Talk About This, and where I talked about um, when people or animals pass on and that kind of thing, was pretty broken up. It's a pretty difficult episode, I think, both to listen to and for me to do, but I felt it was still kind of necessary. And that led to this episode, which is about potential for the afterlife, or a afterlife, or lack thereof, whichever you believe. Um, and I'll start that off by saying that if you have a spirituality of your own, as we've talked about in earlier episodes, if you have something you've been developing yourself, you don't necessarily have to have an afterlife concept. It doesn't have to be this grand thing like, oh yeah, if I do this and do this, then I'll be able to go to a paradise and meet whoever and all that other kind of stuff. If you want to do that and if you believe that, then that's great. That's perfectly fine. That's there's no real problem for that. It gives you kind of something to work towards, I suppose, and it can be helpful in preserving the structure of everything that came before. It's almost one of those things where, in order to know what you should do, you have to know where you're going. So you almost have to decide whether you believe in the afterlife before you even set up anything else, because that may dictate how you behave throughout the rest of your spirituality. Now, some of the established religions, like of course in Christianity and in Judaism and in Islam, and I'm going to make it kind of a simplified version here. I know they all have their specifics about it, but the simplified version is, if you do what you're supposed to, which is either the good works or devotion or however, then you will move on to a paradise or a heaven where everything's great. All the people who've passed before you, you're going to meet them there. Um, and it's an eternally grateful, happy place. Now, me, um, I'm pretty pragmatic about the whole thing. I admit that I don't really know whether there's anything other than what we see around us right now. I can't say that there's anything more to our existence than what our senses are telling us. But I do know on a scientific level that everything is made up of energy. Even solid matter is just slowly vibrating energy that's bound close together. Um, and I think energy moves on. And when I say moves on, I don't know necessarily if it goes on to another, dimensional space or whatnot, but I think it transforms. It becomes something else. It's reused. I don't think it goes away. I don't think, it's just something that's going to disappear completely. Now, whether that means your consciousness or my consciousness in this case will continue in some form after I'm gone, I don't know. I could agonize over it. I could worry about it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to choose to decide that, you know what, it's a maybe. It's a hard maybe. But even if it does, it doesn't mean that my form of energy is going to be the same as it is now. So I can't very well just, try to preserve everything I do now for a version of me later, when that version of me may not be at all like this one or even know what this person was like. So I don't worry about it so much. I have had this creeping thought over the last couple of years about all the things and the stuff that I accumulate, because I like stuff. I like my transforming robot toys. I like, music. I like collecting things. And the thought has occurred to me many times over the last several years about whether any of this is going to be important after I'm gone, where it's going to go, what's it going to matter, because I won't be able to do anything with it. I'll be gone. My energy will be moving on to whatever form it's going to take afterwards. So that's kind of a personal struggle of mine that I have to deal with. I still like stuff, but I have to continuously acknowledge that a lot of this stuff I'm collecting for nothing, really. I'm collecting for right now, and it's going to bring me enjoyment right now. But eventually, I won't be here to enjoy any of it. So what's the point? So I have to decide what to do with it all. And it's a sobering thought. And it's not something that I'm going to tell everybody you should think about these kind of things, because it can get you depressed. It can get you, and sometimes you can get a little crazy and be like, oh, I don't. And I'm not saying the people who are like this are necessarily crazy people. I'm using that in a general term, like, like midlife crisis kind of thing, where people realize, oh, you know what, I can't take anything when I'm gone, and so I better get rid of everything. I have to downsize, and I have to live out of an RV, and not in a joking way, as I have done with certain other people from my history. But I have to do that, and I have to live off the grid, and I have to have a more simple life because I won't be able to take any of it with me. And that's, if you truly honestly believe that, that's fine. But you shouldn't have a freak out moment where you think that's the only way to do it, and then you kind of feel like, oh man, I miss the stuff that I had. I mean, just because it's stuff doesn't mean it didn't make me feel good. If you like stuff, keep liking stuff. It's okay. But it's also okay to simplify in the long term, because you cannot take any of it with you. The Egyptian pharaohs tried to take things with them, and we're still finding it left behind all this time later, just like all kinds of other tombs and things over the years. We are finding all of the tomb stuff from ancient peoples that they have left behind. They're not here anymore. They didn't take it with you or with them. They left it. So it's something to think about when you're crafting your own spirituality, when you're trying to become spiritually fulfilled. Is to decide, is there going to be anything after this? How much should I worry about it? And if I do worry a lot about it, is there really anything I can do? Because that's the real sticker. Even if you have like, oh no, there's a particular thing coming and I haven't been the best person, I haven't done this, I'm not prepared for it. There's really not much you can do. It's going to get here eventually, hopefully later rather than sooner. And you're really never going to be prepared for it, I don't think. You can do the best you can, or you can scramble around like a mad person and try to accomplish everything on this miles-long bucket list. But you're not going to be ready for it. It's just going to come at you when it does. So however you look into it, whatever you believe is going to come next, if anything, enjoy what you have now. And if what you have now isn't bringing you enjoyment, then change it up. Do something different. Find a way the best you can. I know it's not like some easy on-off switch that you just like, oh, I'm going to start enjoying my life tomorrow. Boom, and I do. I'm the happiest person ever. I know it doesn't work like that. But take steps, take certain actions, like do things a little bit differently. Do your best to enjoy the moments that you have today, because really that's the only part of your life that you get to experience on a constant level. It's right now, in this moment, today. You can plan for tomorrow. Tomorrow may not happen at all the way you want to, or it may happen exactly the way you want to. Who knows? But you're still not going to experience that tomorrow until it gets to now. And once something's over, it's over. It's gone. You can't go back and redo it. You can't go back and re-experience it. You can't. So don't sit there and worry about it. Move on. You know. And that's not to say you may not have regrets. That's not to say that you may not feel bad about things that happened before, or if someone has passed, like my pet, or someone you knew, like a family member or whatnot. Just because, oh yeah, they passed yesterday, but today is a different day, so of course I'm going to move on and be. I know it's not like that. I understand, and I'm not saying just to forget about all that stuff and just to not be sad or not be upset, because it's okay. It is okay to be upset. It is okay to be sad. It's okay to shed whatever tears you have to. I certainly have over the past week here. Mostly over last weekend, and then over the course of the week. It's been a rough time. But what you have now, enjoy it, experience it, see it for what it is right now, regardless of whether there is or is not an afterlife. And you can figure all that stuff out later. That's all philosophy. That's all academic. Once it comes back at the end of the day. I mean, if you're a really some really hardcore religious people are going to be like, no, that's not what you do. You have to constantly you're in danger of hellfire and you're blah, blah. You'll never get to heaven if you don't, you've got to do all this all the time and you've got to always think about it. I don't agree with that. I can't say that they're wrong because I don't know. But I have doubts about it. I disagree. I don't think it should be that serious. Even if you do believe that the afterlife is a serious idea and a serious thing, and that's fine, that's great, you do you. The moments right now, you can't just sit there thinking about it all the time. Because you'll just harm yourself. You'll cause spiritual pain. You'll cause yourself mental anguish, and then you're living every day like a flagellum, like you're being tortured all the time, and it's really not the way to do things. I don't think. I mean, if you honestly believe it is, okay. I can't disagree. I can't tell you you're wrong, of course, but I am going to disagree with you, and this is just my advice. So that's it. This was a short one. It was kind of just to make some points. And unfortunately, I think this is actually going to be the last episode of this for a little while. I don't think I'm done with it permanently. I know throughout the series I've said I wasn't sure if I was going to continue it or if I was going to just do a limited thing and then that was it. But I think for the moment, at 20 episodes, I've said as much as I can say so far on the basics without overwhelming people. And I don't want it to turn into a belief of the week kind of thing where just every week, oh, we're just going to talk about this. This is a nice one. This is great. And then everybody turns into a bunch of dabblers and just, oh, let's try a little bit of this, a little bit of this. Oh, that's great. Let's mix it up. I don't want it to do that. I wanted this to be a serious, and it has been. Even like the Jedi episode was pretty serious, and the flying spaghetti monster thing, even with the jokey things, it all had pretty good stuff. But yeah, I think this is going to be the last episode for a little while. Unlike the Monday podcast, I don't have a forecast for when I'll bring this back. I have to give it a lot of thought because I'm kind of overwhelmed with a lot of things in life at the moment. I have a lot of things going on. Like I haven't even, tomorrow I'm hanging out with Rob to do a bunch of this Uncanny Earth related stuff, which was sorely needed. We're really behind on it, mostly because we haven't been able to hang out on location anywhere. 2 months, maybe? A month, 2 months? I don't know. It's been a long time. I can't even remember the last time we hung out. Honestly, it's been that long. And we used to hang out like clockwork, like every few weeks, every month, because we were doing business stuff. We were hanging out, we were doing stuff. And I've just been overwhelmed with things. You know, I've had a lot of things come up that have taken up a lot of my time and attention, and I get burned out, and I need some time, you know. But I probably will bring the series back. Maybe with a different approach, maybe with some different topics and things. I don't know. We'll see. Or I might just in the meantime give Rob the reins and have him do his contrast version, where his is more about the more religious stuff, like the Bible study kind of things, because that's what he's into. So I might step aside and let him do that. But like I said, no forecast for when this is coming back. We still have a lot of our other content going. Like on Mondays, we still have Let's Talk About This every Monday on Spreaker, which is then going to YouTube and Spotify, etc. Tuesday is still Twitch Tuesdays for me. Wednesday is still open, except for when Rob does his streaming at This Uncanny Gaming, which is Uncanny Alchemist, I believe he's renaming the channel. Okay. Thursdays are still the Uncanny Spirits Club. Still tons of episodes of there, working up all the way through August. Friday is the regular This Uncanny Earth. So still all kinds of content going on, and I'm probably going to try to do more things in between too. I've had a request to get back into doing music interviews, which I haven't done in a long time, but I may start. I don't know. I'm a bit out of practice with that kind of stuff, but I might start. Who knows? But for the moment, this is currently the last foreseeable episode of the Saturday Spiritualist until I get into my brain and dredge up some new stuff and get things worked out. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in for the first 20 episodes. I appreciate you being here. Anybody who's ever dropped a comment or who's liked or shared the videos or anything like that, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. And I will see you again when I see you. Don't forget about all the other content we have throughout the week and on the YouTube channel. I have tons of stuff on the Spider Does Things YouTube channel. I have over 160 videos there and counting of different things. And I know I've got a lot of stuff here on the Uncanny Earth channel as well. So like, share, subscribe, both channels. Tell your friends. Word of mouth. Get it out there. Boom. And until I see you again, be well.